Well, hello everyone. How's everybody today? Appreciate you joining in today. It has been cold. Um, we haven't had a lot of snow this winter, but the last week and a half we've had a chill. It's been going down to minus 20 without the wind chill, so that's pretty cold. I find this tractor doesn't like to start in the cold as much as the B2650 did, but it does get going. And this is part two of the last video. Had to go to town, and when I got back, I had to go finish up some plowing. So we're going to clean out the neighbor across the road. He messaged me, asked me if I could give him a little sweep, and then go up to my young fellas, get his driveway cleaned out before his roommate gets back, and get up to the church and clean up the church. This is the first time that I've plowed in the dark. It gets getting darker the longer I'm out, but I'm pretty pleased with the lighting on the tractor, and it shows up pretty good. I do want to put a strobe light on the tractor, and I did get a strobe light for it. So I'm going to install that here at some point, and that'll give me the option of not running the four ways when I'm doing some work, and it'll be something I'll put on permanent. As you can see, this tractor has high beam and low beam on the front headlights, plus I've got the lights on the cab for the front and the back, so it does light up the area quite well. And like earlier when I said the last video, this storm was fairly light snow, so it was nice plowing. And it was the first storm that I plowed with the angle blade, so I was glad to get back into the angle blade. I do have to say I prefer it over the push box or the push blade. Now we're heading up to the church, and we're going to get this church done up. And there's a lot of snow. So when you're angling like that, it builds up pretty quick, and snow plowing. Some people like the video, some people don't. It's a lot of back and forth, we had a thaw here before this cold snap, and there's still a few areas where the ground is soft and it catches. That area right where I just went through is one of those spots, and it's a pain in the butt. And the blade does catch the ground and dig in a little bit. It's one of those things. My wife gives me a hard time because I'm digging up the lawn, but you got to keep the snow pushed back, and unfortunately we have to go on the lawn to push it back far enough. So far we're the end of January and we haven't had a lot of snow, but February could bring quite a dusting. So if you don't push it back far enough and prepare for the big storms, you can get into a mess. Now, it's not so bad for me. I do have the skid steer if I had to, and I could move the banks back, but if they're froze hard, that can be quite a job. So I'd rather push it back now than have to move them back when the banks are hard. So to me, it's do it when you first are plowing, when the stuff is moving easy, and you don't have to come back and fiddle. So I don't do a lot of plowing. I do my own driveway and my rental units and this church. I help the church out by doing it. We've had people do it in the past, and they don't do a fantastic job, or they make a mess, or unfortunately this year I did dig the lawn a few places, and it's just part of it. Not much I can do about it when the ground is soft. The early storms that we had, there was no frost in the ground, so it was hard. I think I'm going to buy a pipe and put on the blade for the early storms and the spring storms. I'm going to do that before spring comes. Hopefully, the last 2 weeks have been cold. It's been in the minus 15 to minus 22 without the wind chill. So I'm hoping that's put some frost in the ground, and the blade won't dig in much. It's a lot easier when you're traveling across the ground and it's hard and you're just skimming the ground. So I'm hoping the frost is there now. But we will have some spring plowing coming up, and unfortunately the ground gets soft then again. Now this is a fair amount of snow. This is probably about 8 inches, and it's nice and fluffy, but it's the more snow you have, the more passes you have to make. So I'm just going to work away here. We're going to get this driveway done. It takes me roughly 2 hours to do this driveway for the church. It's a fairly big driveway, and I push it back far, so I'm able to turn the tractor around and go both directions. The direction I'm going there is uphill, and it pushes a lot better going in this direction here. It's not much of a grade, but it makes a difference, especially when it gets icy. Now, this is the first winter I'm plowing with the L3560. It's over twice the weight of the B2650, and I've plowed with the B2650 for 3 or 4 years, and I've used the same attachments on it as I am with the L3560, and I'll have to say the L35 is working like a champ. It will push much more snow than the B2650 just because of the extra weight, and the tires are a lot bigger, so maybe there's more traction on the ground. But really, no complaints with the B2650. It was a good little tractor. It was just not quite big enough for the type of work that I'm doing. Now we're just gonna go back and forth here. At this point right here, I'm about quarter done the big driveway, and it's a long push, and a lot of the time it's easier just to put the straight blade and push a lot. I'm wondering if I shouldn't put some wings on this blade. I think I could push a little bit more, and I think this is a 7-foot blade. I think an 8-foot blade would be nice, a little bit bigger, but it may be too much blade for the tractor. But this blade works pretty good. It angles, the tractor moves fast enough, and it does throw the snow to the side when you're on an angle, so it's working pretty good. That was one thing with the B2650. The tractor didn't move very fast, so it didn't throw the snow very well to the side. Mind you, when you get a big pile, you're not throwing a lot of snow because it just piles up and you can't throw it fast enough. Anyway, we're just going to work way back and forth and get this driveway cleaned up, and I kind of enjoy plowing at night. It's kind of calm, and you got the radio on in the cab and the heater on. I can't imagine doing this without a cab. Well, I can, because the first year or two I plowed this yard, I was using a Thomas skid steer that had no door and had no side windows, and it was cold. My toes would be froze by the time I was done. So the cab is nice. It takes a bit for the tractor to warm up, and but once it gets warmed up, she's toasty in the cab, so that's good, and makes plowing a lot nicer. Now when I plow, if I do everything all at once, it takes me anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much snow. Wet, heavy snow takes longer, of course, and it can be quite a pain. So I hate that type of snow. that's wet and heavy or crusty. Last year we had a storm that the smaller tractor was having difficulties. Now I always leave the box scraper on the back of the tractor, and that seems to work pretty good because you can dig pretty good in the hard crusty stuff, and you can back it back up, and you can do quite well with it. You just got to work away with it. This year, if we get any major crusty hard snow, I may try the skid steer. The tracks on the skid steer aren't very good in the snow. They slip bad, but I think with the bucket that we could probably do better with the bucket on the skid than we could with the tractor. The tractor's traction is limited, but I think there might be a little more traction on the skid steer. So if we have to do a terrible storm, we may try to skid and see how that works. I did get a set of winter tracks, and I looked at changing them. I've watched some videos, and so far this winter hasn't been crazy, and I thought I'll just use the tractor. The tractor's easy to get in and around, and I didn't want to fight with the tracks. But I do have a set of extra tracks. If I need to, if I wear one set out, I can put the winter ones on and run them. I may put them on next year. We'll have to wait and see. But the plan was not to plow with the skid steer on a regular basis, so I chose not to put them on. I did think about bringing the skid steer and leaving it here at the church or in the parsonage yard, and I could just drive up and grab it and plow and leave it right there, save me driving the tractor up the road. I do really care to do that. There is a lot of moisture on the road and salt, and it's hard to wrench the tractor off in the winter time, so it does create a little bit of rust on the tractor, but it is what it is, and we're going to just deal with it like that. It's January 30th today, and I'm sitting here editing this video, and we had about 2 or 3 centimeters yesterday, so I will probably end up going out and doing a little plowing just to clean up a little bit. If I don't clean it up, then it'll just get icy underneath, and I think it's better to get it cleaned up. So here shortly I'm going to go start the tractor and get it warmed up and get ready to go up to the church, clean that up, and clean up some of the other areas that I got to do today. So yeah, I appreciate everyone watching. We're getting close to the 1,000 subscribers, and I hope if you're watching for the first time that you click that like button and subscribe. This channel does a lot of equipment work. I try to show some of the work I do in the projects I get throughout the year. Last year we did a lot of pools, some driveways, did a big dry well in the backyard of a gentleman, and it's not always what I would want in my yard, but the customer is always right, and we will do what the customer wants. So we just work away. The winter's pretty slow. I am thinking about doing some reviews of the equipment. Once it starts warming up, I've got some lighting I want to put on the truck for flashing lights, and I want to put my logo on the door for next year, and I want to clean up the box and paint it a glossy color, and then put some information on the box as well. So, but that's a springtime job because it's too cold to do anything right now. And we're gonna just put some music on here and let the plowing action work. Well, thank you all for joining in today. Appreciate it. I appreciate everyone has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you haven't clicked that like button, please do that as well. Well, I appreciate you guys dropping in. Just remember, we're halfway through the winter. We'll say half, hopefully we are. And winter will come to an end and we'll get some bigger projects coming into spring. Anyway, thank you again for dropping in, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you. Take it easy.